As a new guy.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear the sound of my voice. I got the stream running, but it's playing a trailer right now. Cool. All right, John Bondi can hear me. All right, great. Okay, we are talking about Daredevil, Born Again, Episode 7. We're already on Episode 7. How'd that work out? That's amazing. Okay, all right. All right, cool. Audio's working. Always got to make sure. There's always some kind of audio issue with these streams. I don't know why. Some people can't hear me. I don't know. I think that's an issue on their end. It seems fine on this end. I test these things, so looks like we're doing okay. John Bondi in the chat. Is it me or does Fisk seem not as evil as he was on Netflix? No, it's not you. I think that was a deliberate choice by the writers. Also, Fisk is the mayor now, so he has to kind of be more careful about how he conducts himself. I think we're seeing that a lot in these later episodes. Okay. Episode 7. We're going to talk about this episode. I'm going to spoil everything. I'll give my thoughts on it, and then we'll do super chats, and then we'll get out of here. Okay? Just got to move this over here. Okay. Episode 7. We are entering the home stretch of the season. Only 2 more episodes after this. How did that happen already? And a lot is going down now. Matt is back as Daredevil. He's running a criminal empire again. He's not, but he is back to his old ways. And some surprising things happened in this one that kind of point to where the season may end up. And it's not really where I thought we'd be going. I thought Muse would be a bigger deal than he ended up being. Because I thought he was going to be like the final boss of the season. And the whole Matt Kingpin thing was going to be a much slower burn than it is. But apparently Muse was just a rest stop villain to tide us over until Kingpin got his mojo back, which we see him doing now. So I thought there would be more to the Muse story after we built it up all season. But I guess all roads really do lead to Kingpin on this show. Can't really be mad about that. Really can't. They've done a very good job of rehabilitating Kingpin after what Echo did to him. Not Echo the character, I mean the Echo writers, rather. Anyway, episode 7 begins in the mayor's office with Fisk lamenting that he hasn't been able to solve this pesky serial killer problem. And there's murals going up on buildings all over the city, painted with the victim's blood of this serial killer. Killed 60 people. They can't find him anywhere. But his 2 assistants, the Weasley sycophant guy and the British guy, let him know that Angela Ayala was dropped off at a hospital last night after she was saved from Muse by the vigilante Daredevil. Fisk takes that news about as well as you might think. So we cut to Matt in the shower the next morning, washing all the blood off himself. Therapist girlfriend gets in the shower with him, and she almost remarks about how Matt's covered with bruises, but then he distracts her with sex. As you do. She's not letting this go, though. You were gone when I got here last night. You left your briefcase here, so you weren't working. And I know you're lying to me about going for a walk. You're acting weird. You're evasive about the bruises. You're weirdly nonplussed about that bank robbery situation from last week. What's going on, Matt? Obviously, something is going on with you. And Matt tries to explain it, but there's only so much he can say. Short version is, now that he's back as Daredevil, this new life he created for himself in the last year is starting to feel artificial. Like he's just been putting on an act. Like he insists that he doesn't include her in that, but he's probably lying to himself about that one. She puts her therapist hat on for a minute, says correctly that Matt's been tamping down a whole lot of trauma for so long that it's kind of threatening to destroy him. And she's not really wrong about that, let's be honest, but Matt's in kind of a tough spot here because what's he supposed to do? Was he supposed to not stop Muse from killing Angela? So maybe it is a self-destructive pattern that Matt's fallen back into, but he obviously likes it there. It's where he's needed. And he can't talk about that with her, so nothing is really resolved here. They do exchange IOY. It was at that moment that I told myself, one of two things is about to happen. She's either about to die or be revealed as a villain of some kind. And to be honest with you, I think I would have preferred either option to what actually happened, because they went a different way, which may create an issue the writers are going to have to address later. They almost killed her, but she survived, and her survival is, well, it's something we're going to have to come back to. So Matt goes to work, and the second he's in the door, investigator guy is up his ass about the Daredevil thing. He's pissed off that Matt suited up again. He wants no part of enabling Matt. And I'm not sure why he's upset. Granted, Matt went outside the law, but he saved a girl who would have died had he not done this. He found Muse in one night when the police couldn't. I'm not seeing a downside here. I imagine the downside will come later, but not yet, so what's the problem? Why is he upset? My guess is that this is the start of Investigator Guy getting phased out so we can clear the table for Karen to come back, but it's a little bit weird that he's getting this upset this quickly. I feel like we missed something. Is there a scene that should have been in there to explain why he's like this? All Matt did was save a life and nothing bad happened. Like what? And yet he's all pissed off. I don't get it. Very strange. Back to Fisk talking to the British assistant, and Fisk is not happy about this Daredevil situation. He's worked himself up into a self-righteous tizzy about this, talking about how, excuse me, how he built a fail-proof business, created tons of jobs, made blue-collar people billionaires, wouldn't that be something? Blue-collar people millionaires, excuse me. Did lots of good things for the city, and did all these other great things, but then Daredevil came along, went outside the law, beat some people up, made them afraid, destroyed everything, had Fisk unjustly arrested, really framing himself as a victim in all this. So British guy tries to keep him calm and steer him in a certain direction, reminding him that as the mayor, he has a lot of power that he didn't have before. He just has to be particular with how he wields it. Also, a mention is made of how Fisk brought British guy over from his previous life. You could probably guess what that is. And, suddenly I was wondering if I should go to the Marvel Wiki and look up the name Buck. See if he's somebody I should recognize. This was interesting because British guy is not clueless. He knows about Fisk's criminal past. So he's really just playing along in here. Just playing along. But it's not clear if Fisk is putting on an act or if he's kind of gaslighting himself into thinking that he's actually the wounded party in this situation. Maybe it's both. And that is kind of how Kingpin's mind works. But Kingpin tends to not think clearly where Vanessa is concerned. We cut to Vanessa meeting with Luca, the leader of the Irish mob, who's not happy about Kingpin deciding that he owes 1.8, or is it 2.8 now? I don't know. For stepping out of line. He's really gotten frustrated with the current arrangement. He talks to Vanessa about how they were all making a lot more money when she was running things, and maybe it's time for a change. Because all this politics stuff is bullshit, and it kind of seems like Vanessa was happier with the way things used to be anyway. Vanessa doesn't exactly argue with this. But she's playing her cards very close to the vest here. Yeah, they certainly make it seem as if she's considering doing something, and based on the last 6 episodes, I wasn't sure which way she was going to go. because we have seen that she's not thrilled with all this mayor stuff. She hasn't been happy with Wilson returning to his old ways. Maybe something will change with that, because it kind of seems like the old Wilson, the Kingpin Wilson, is what she was missing, but it's too soon to tell for sure. So we don't know which way she's going to go here. It's all really well done. We go to therapist girlfriend having an appointment with the whacked out looking dude from her book signing a few episodes ago. And if you couldn't figure out who he was from that one scene, then you might need to go back and rewatch. It's not like they made a big secret of it. And this session is intercut with Fisk talking to the hostage negotiator lady from the bank robbery episode. So she's been, working the Muse case. We see her, at the murder hideout in one scene, scoping the place out, which is weird because the Muse case involves neither hostages nor negotiating. I guess she wears many different hats. Anyway, she went over the Muse murder hideout, did some detective stuff, and she's pretty sure they've figured out who this guy is. I'll give you one guess. She's worked up a file on this dude, committed to mental asylums 3 times before he was 21, had a live-in taekwondo instructor who was mysteriously found dead when he was 16. Sounds like our guy, right? Also, Muse and Angela may not have been the only ones down there. Daredevil may have been there too, though they haven't been able to confirm this yet. But, Fisk has heard rumors, and that's all Fisk needed. He ends the meeting abruptly at that point, tells negotiator lady that he'll take it from here, because he'll be damned if he's going to let that damn vigilante Daredevil get the credit for this. Cut to Bastion Bastion, that's his name, Bastion, in the middle of therapy. And he's talking about how he hated his taekwondo sensei, hated competing in martial arts. He just wanted to be an artist. All he ever wanted was to be the person he is now. And now he gets to be that person. Finally, the city can see who he really is, and it's all because of therapist lady. She's unlocked something beautiful inside of him. And she's not stupid. So she's pretty much sussed out what's going on here. So by the time he gets a nosebleed and starts sketching the Muse mask in his own blood right there at the table, talking about his true self, the jig is well and truly up. Back at the law firm, the lady lawyer talks to investigator guy. She's getting a little fed up with him, thinking him and Matt are keeping things from her, which they kind of are, but again, it's a little bit weird because we haven't really seen them keeping things from her, at least nothing that would affect their work, aside from that one scene earlier. Now, you can tell what direction they're moving in. As Matt resumes his old life as Daredevil, it starts affecting his personal life, and now this new fake life he's created is being torn down. My thing is, it's happening very quickly. So quickly that it feels a little bit awkward. We haven't really seen them keeping things from her. Not really. There's one scene. Matt says, "Oh, I got to talk to investigator guy for a minute, and then I'm all yours." It's like this is all kind of popping up out of nowhere. It's like Matt spent half the season trying to hold himself back from being Daredevil, and now he's stepping on the gas, and the plot has shifted along with him, and now it's working overtime to sweep Matt's new life off to the side as quickly as possible. And I think it could be done a little more smoothly, is what I'm saying. So anyway, Matt talks to Angela in the hospital, asking if there's anything she can remember about Muse's murder hideout. She tells him about all these fucked up paintings of faces the dude had, and Matt's like, "Oh, great, faces, those things I can't see. Awesome. So he goes back to the hideout. He knocks out that crooked cop in a pretty funny moment. The guy just walks in. He's like, "Hey!" And just throws the billy club at his face and knocks him out cold. Oh, that was great. And so he uses his super touch thing on all these paintings that Muse had. And turns out Muse did a whole mess of paintings of therapist girlfriend, who Matt did the blind thing with her face earlier. And the cops have worked this out too. They did facial recognition and stuff, so they both figured out what's going on. So Daredevil and Fisk's task force all race over to her office, where Muse has her tied up, and he's cut her arm, letting her bleed out. Gotta say, Muse is not as creepy when he starts talking. Okay, when the mask goes on, I think he needs to just shut up. Because when he starts talking, I think it kind of ruins the mystique of it. Anyway, I'm a little unclear on what Muse is doing or what his plan even is. Because he credited Therapist Lady with helping him become his true self, but now he wants her dead? It's weird. I think afterward there was a mention by one of the corrupt cops that Muse was doing some kind of murder-suicide thing. Maybe? Didn't seem to me like Muse wanted to die. We just know that he wanted to kill the Therapist Lady. Not really sure about that either. Why would he want to kill her when he credited her for helping him become his true self? Granted, she'd figured out his real identity, but still, I don't know. It's a little confusing. By the way, there was some weirdly sloppy ADR in this scene, too, where Therapist Lady's words are very obviously not matching her lips. But during this, she mentions that anyone who has to wear a mask is a coward. So, if anybody was wondering if her and Matt had any chance of working out, then, yeah, probably not. So Muse gets fed up, he tries to shoot her, she tries to fight him, he gets her down on this big canvas that he's laid out on the floor, trying to strangle her, and then Daredevil crashes through the window. They have a fight, which is good, but not as riveting as the one from last week. Maybe because we already saw that Daredevil can beat Muse, so there's not so much tension there this time. Though at this point the task force is storming the building, so Matt has to do this quickly. Still, I don't know, it might have been a mistake to show that Matt could beat Muse in their previous encounter. And I think one of the reasons the Bullseye fight in episode 1 worked so well is because I don't think we'd ever seen Matt beat Bullseye in a fight up until that point. Because they fought several times in Netflix Daredevil Season 3, but I think the best Matt ever... So even... in the season premiere, we didn't know if Matt could actually beat Bullseye, because he'd never done it before. So, a lot of drama was derived from that. Here, we already saw Matt beat Muse last week. Now they're just fighting again. And I think there was something missing from this scene. It needed a little something extra. Now, granted, the girlfriend is right there, and she's bleeding out, but not quickly. Not as quickly as Angela was last week. And yes, the cops are coming up at this point, but those cops that Matt already destroyed 1-on-3 a few weeks ago, those guys, I think was missing something. I'm just not sure what it was. It needed a little something extra. There is a brutal moment where Muse is going at Therapist Lady with a knife, and Daredevil shoots his grappling hook right through his body and out the other side. I mean, he's coming at her, and splat! Like the hook just comes out through his chest. Good God. And he drags Muse back, covering that canvas on the floor with Muse's own blood. Jesus Christ! Starts beating the shit out of him at this point, but before Matt can finish the guy off, Therapist Lady grabs Muse's gun, puts several bullets in the guy, killing him, and then collapses from blood loss. So, Matt has to do something real quick to stem the blood loss. We don't see what he does exactly, but when the task force barges in, Daredevil's gone, she's still alive, and Muse is very dead. Though, maybe not permanently dead according to some people in the chat room right now. Anyway, the cops put 2 and 2 together. They know Daredevil was there and did something, but Fisk is quick to frame this as if his task force were the heroes and that they're the ones who killed Muse, and it's all thanks to the mayor, so you're welcome, New York City. I'm not sure how Fisk expects that story to hold up. Alright, first of all, BB Urich is quick to post a story about how bystanders on the street saw Daredevil crashing through the window before the cops got there. And Sycophant Guy has to put the screws to BB in an attempt to get her to play ball with them over this, to drop the Daredevil angle and confirm that it was the task force that got Muse. Otherwise, the rest of her life could turn out to be pretty shitty, but she already posted the story. And the internet is... people are still going to remember it. It's probably already been posted in other places. Anyway, some of that was retaliation after he drunkenly told her some stuff he shouldn't have, and she made a story out of it, and it got him in trouble with the mayor, so it's nice that that went somewhere and paid off. Also, and this is the bigger issue, therapist girlfriend is still alive. So as soon as the authorities question her about what happened, is she going to not tell them the truth? Is she going to not say that, hey, Daredevil crashed through the window and fought the guy off, and then I shot him dead? I mean, that is what happened. Does she have any reason to not tell them that that's the way it went down? Once she does that, the public is going to know that Fisk lied. I mean, Kingpin's going to have to get her to go along with the story, or it all falls apart very easily. And sure, he can do that. He's done things like that before. And I'm assuming he will next week. But her surviving Muse's attempted murder is a big loose end here. I don't know, I don't know, I'll wait and see what happens. I just feel like this could potentially be an oversight by the writers. And I keep thinking, you know, if she had just died, or if Daredevil had been unable to save her, that would have just closed that loop. And then they could say, oh, hey, maybe Muse killed her, or maybe it was Daredevil who killed her, and, you know, Kingpin could frame him because he was there, and we don't know what really happened. It's all really chaotic. It's hard to tell. But now she's alive, and she could very easily say, no, what Fisk said was bullshit. No, it wasn't the task force. They didn't do shit. You know, Daredevil's the one who saved me, and then I killed Muse. It wasn't the cops. It wasn't the task force. So her still being alive is it creates a plot hole. Now, they can account for that very easily enough. I'm just saying, I feel like if she died, it would have been like better for the story, you know. So she wakes up in the hospital. She remarks that Daredevil knew her name, like that was weird, but it really isn't, because she's a well-known psychiatrist and a published author. It's not like her name is a secret. It's probably on the office door. So I don't know why she thought that was unusual. I'm assuming it's leading to her figuring out Matt's secret identity, but it seems a little bit contrived to me that she would make a note to point out, hey, Daredevil knew my name. Yeah. Maybe he read the nameplate on the office door. Maybe he saw your mailbox. You know, maybe it's not like your identity's a secret, lady. Come on. All right, so Mayor Fisk does a press conference congratulating himself for keeping his promise to keep the city safe from masked men and congratulating his task force for killing Muse. Again, it's such a weird hole in the story. If Kingpin is careful to plug that hole again, fine. He can account for this. But that does need to happen. Otherwise, it's just a glaring hole in the narrative here. So I hope the writers are aware of this. And the episode ends with Vanessa telling Luca that her husband is alone and where to find him. So he goes to this restaurant, which Fisk seems to have bought the entire place out so he could eat dinner alone in peace. Luca walks in with the intent to kill him, but British guy British assistant guy was ready there waiting for him, gets the jump on Luca, and kills him before he has the chance. So, did Vanessa know that would happen? That's what I'm wondering right now. Did Vanessa try to have Wilson killed, or were her and Wilson working together on that one to eliminate Luca because he was becoming an issue? Are her and Wilson back on the same page, or aren't they? Does she want Wilson dead or not? I'm not sure. That's a question mark. I have no idea where Vanessa's actually pretty cool. They've muddied the waters there a lot. The marriage counseling thing was getting kind of old, but now we're into, like, the really juicy stuff. Does Vanessa still love Wilson? Does she want him dead? Is it a little bit of both? Did she just want him to be the Kingpin again? And was that the real problem they were having? Was this all just to motivate Wilson to kind of get his groove back and become his old self? Is that what's going on here? Really interesting stuff. So, another good episode. Having the action back is a big plus. It's not my favorite of the season, though. There are some elements where things seem a little bit too convenient, or the plot is skipping a few steps in order to facilitate things. Like, Matt just went back to being Daredevil like 2 days ago, and it's already causing things to fall apart in his personal and professional life. And I understand that that's the point of the story, but it's weird how quickly it's all happening. Because we're seeing the investigator guy getting pissed off at him because he had the audacity to save a little girl's life. Oh no, Matt, what a horrible person. Then there's the lady lawyer partner. You know, she's upset that they're keeping secrets from her because they kept a secret from her in this 1 2-minute scene. Because he had to talk to the investigator guy before he talked to her, and now she's pissed off that Matt's got a full plate, but all I see is you guys off in your own little world. It's like, what? It was one time. That's it. It's all just happening very quickly. Also, very strange that the Muse story was wrapped up with 2 episodes to go still. Apparently, Muse was the mini-boss of the season rather than the big bad. But that's another thing that was addressed kind of abruptly. Like, he's a big mystery for 7 episodes. They spend a lot of time, like, subtly building him up as this creepy, like, looming threat that's, like off in the shadows somewhere. Then they drop his entire backstory on us in one scene, and then one fight scene later, he's dead. I was hoping for more from that character, honestly. Like, and it turns out that something was actually the task force story rather than the Muse story. It's like going into a restaurant really craving a hamburger, ordering a hamburger, getting ready to eat a hamburger, and then they bring you a hot dog instead. And the hot dog is still very tasty, so you got the meal you went in for, it's just not the one you ordered. So yeah, like, all roads lead back to Kingpin, I guess. Just 2 episodes left now. And looks like the Daredevil Kingpin drama is only going to escalate from here. Cool, cool. It's just kind of an odd road they're taking to get there, I guess. Okay. Excuse me. Are you so happy that Ms. Marvel wasn't in this week's episode? Kind of, yeah. I wonder if they're saving that for like the season finale. That's what it ends on. Like that's supposed to be like what passes for a happy ending. Like he goes to dinner with the Khan family. Yeah, so I'm not. I'm still kind of wondering if they might do that, because man, that Ms. Marvel scene in the bank heist episode really stood out. It's like let's derail the episode by having Mr. Khan spend several minutes talking about his daughter to this guy who could not care less. Like Matt, he's just politely sitting there, like I'm here to talk about a loan. I really don't care about this Ms. Marvel Funko Pop. Oh, good. Okay, that's very true. Had Daredevil lost against Muse last week, say he had to run to save the girl, then it would make this week's episode more tense. Yeah, so it's not just me, right? Like, like in that first fight, they made it clear that, Muse can hold his own, but it was very obvious that Daredevil was a cut above, right? It was clear that Daredevil was outclassing him physically. So maybe if they'd made it a little bit more even, or if it had been a stalemate, that would have worked better. I guess they wanted that catharsis of Daredevil just, really whooping some dude's ass in his first fight back in the suit. But it did kind of like suck the tension out of this one. See, I don't like BB. She keeps manipulating the dudes with zero thought about anyone but the story. That cost her uncle dearly. You're not wrong. Like she's supposedly like buddies with the sycophant assistant guy, and he told her stuff that he shouldn't have told her, and she posted that story, and it got him in trouble with his boss. I mean, I get that she's a journalist, but she's also kind of a shitty friend. Of course, he turned out to be a shitty person too, but yeah, she's all about getting the story, and that may end up getting her in trouble. I mean, clearly she's seeing the consequences of what she's done this week, because this guy she thought was a friend said, hey, you need to you need to kind of play ball with us here, or else things could go very badly for you. So he starts flexing on her. So she BB may need to think more strategically, or pick her battles a little bit more carefully. Kingpin could close that loop by offing her. Yes, he could. He could. That may be what ends up happening. And he's going to have to do it soon, or he's at the very least he's going to have a talk with her. So they can get their story straight. He says, hey, look, I said that my task force got Muse, and I need you to just kind of confirm that to anybody who asks, or because I'd really hate for you to, I'd hate for you to get your head stuck in a car door, because bad things tend to happen to people who get their heads stuck in car doors. Am I right? Yeah. I think if he's gonna do something to Vanessa, it's gonna have no, not Vanessa, to the therapist lady. I keep forgetting these characters' names. If he's gonna do something with her, it's gonna have to be next week. It's gonna have to be in the next episode. Otherwise, this is not gonna make sense. Matt still didn't talk about She-Hulk yet. Yeah. Before the season started, the showrunner was asked about the She-Hulk thing, and he was like, yeah, like we're probably just not gonna acknowledge that. I mean, he was careful with the way he said it. Like we're gonna lean into certain things about the past continuity, and we're just gonna lean away from other things. The She-Hulk appearance is probably something we're just not gonna we're just not going to examine too closely. We're just going to leave that where it is. And he was careful with the way he said it, but it's pretty obviously they're just ignoring the She-Hulk appearance. As a Taekwondo master, I'm not saying it's weak, but like Daredevil is basically a ninja tier character. He should always lose that fight. Well, yeah. I'm just saying they kind of wrote themselves into a bit of a corner with the Muse thing. Because, okay, he was forced by his parents to compete in Taekwondo. He had a live-in sensei for a while. But he hated it. And we can assume that he hasn't trained since those days, whereas Matt has been training since he was a kid. So, yeah, obviously Matt would outclass him in a fight. But, like, where's the tension then? If we know going in that the good guy is going to, like, the good guy completely outclasses the villain in a fight, then where's the tension supposed to come from? I think if that's the case, they needed to make Muse like craftier. Okay, you've got Angela bleeding out. He has to beat Muse before she dies. Okay, that's something. But then in the next fight, it's kind of the same thing. You got therapist lady over here. She's bleeding out. I guess like the X factor is that the cops are coming up the stairs at that point. But we're still talking about a bunch of characters who Matt's already defeated easily in a fight 1-on-3. So they need to find a way to get back to what made that Bullseye dynamic work so well. Because back in season 3 Netflix Daredevil, Matt was kind of freaking out about Bullseye. He's like, Fisk found someone to kill me. He found someone as skilled and as badass as I've ever met, that I've ever encountered. Because for most of that season, Matt was not sure he could beat Bullseye. He didn't know, because Bullseye was on the same level as him. And even at the end of the season, he wasn't the one who took Bullseye out. Fisk was. So that's what made the Bullseye fight from episode 1 work so well, because he had never beaten this dude before and didn't even know if he could. And plus, you also had the added drama of Foggy, like, you know, his heart slowing down, like lying right outside the building. So that's what made that so riveting to watch. Here, it's just, Who do you think should be the Spider-Man Brand New Day villain, and thoughts on the title of the movie? I think the title of the movie is dumb. I think obviously it's a riff on One More Day. Nobody likes One More Day. It's one of the most hated stories in Spider-Man history. Marvel knows this. Why would they want it? I don't know. Their insistence on sticking to this One More Day thing is just really... It's starting to feel spiteful. It's like they can't stand the fans for feeling the way they feel, and now they're just rubbing it in our faces. Who's the villain? Who'd I like? Yeah. Who's the villain? Who would I like the villain to be? I don't know. I'd like it to be a villain that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. They've used a lot of the big ones. We haven't seen Scorpion in a movie yet. I know, like Mac Gargan had a cameo in the first one, in Homecoming, I think. He was an inmate in the prison that Vulture wound up in. We haven't seen Scorpion yet. I think he'd be cool. I want a villain that we haven't that hasn't appeared in a movie already. And I don't know. Are any of the like the big timers? Are there any big timers they haven't done yet? Just thinking, we've done Norman Osborn, we've done Doctor Octopus, Venom's had his own trilogy. Craven, well, it's not going to be Craven. The Mysterio. You saw Shriek pop up in the Venom movie. No more symbiotes, please. Just no. No more of the symbiotes for a while. Honestly, I don't know. I think no, they did Electro too. God damn it. I don't know. Scorpion's the only one who springs to mind. Well, they haven't done Tombstone yet. He's not really a major villain, but I don't know, played a strangely large role in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Of course, that was a weird take on him, but they haven't done him in a movie yet. I'll say Scorpion. Fuck it. They could do some cool stuff with him. Oh, hey, Mr. Negative. That's another one. He's a newer villain, but we haven't seen him in live action yet. I think he had a pretty sizable role in the Spider-Man video game, though, right? The Jackal? Oh, God, don't even joke about that. Although, I will say this, the Clone Saga, if done carefully, might be worth making a movie about. Because I think, originally, back in the day, what they had planned for the Clone Saga was this, just this one arc where they bring the clone back, do some stuff with him, and then he'd go away. But the Clone Saga story was the only thing that Marvel was putting out that was really selling at the time, so they dragged it out and dragged it out and dragged it out, and before you knew it, several years had gone by, and it just became this giant convoluted mess. If they could just take the basic idea, Miles Warren makes a clone of Spider-Man, just take that basic idea and then resolve it by the end of the movie, that might be worth doing. Just take this. They should take the core concept and just do it, not stupidly, like the comics ended up doing. Not stupidly. That might be worth making a movie of. There's a lot of caveats in that, though. Chameleon showed up in Craven. Let's just not do that. Hobgoblin. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. Hobgoblin might be one. Because do like a more comics accurate Hobgoblin. That could be cool. Because we never really got that in the original Spider-Man movie. Okay, yeah, Willem Dafoe, good casting there, but the armor was weird and it looked like an amusement park costume type of thing. If you could do like a more comics accurate Hobgoblin costume, that could be cool. Now they've done Shocker. He was in Homecoming. Wasn't really Shocker, but it was. They called him Shocker. Yeah, Mr. Negative had a big role in the first game. Yeah, of Cool. All right. You know, I still haven't played that game. I've heard it's great. I heard they kind of. I heard the sequel kind of. I don't know. I've heard weird things about the sequel. Like, kind of, they shunted Peter off to the side and made Miles the main character. Like, no thanks. Oh, Hydro Man. Yeah, they haven't done Hydro Man yet. They did kind of a visual thing that kind of looked like Hydro Man in the second one. That was a Mysterio illusion, though. But yeah, they haven't done Hydro Man. There's one. Black Cat. Not really a villain, but I want to see Black Cat in the movie at some point. Yeah. Cast Sydney Sweeney. How can you go wrong? Let's see. Mary Jane becoming Screech like in the game? What? You mean Shriek? Or Scream, rather? Did they do that with Mary Jane in the games? Jesus Christ. Hammerhead. You can't really build a movie around Hammerhead. Wrecking Crew would be cool. Oh boy. You didn't see what She-Hulk did with the Wrecking Crew, did you? Sydney Sweeney needs to be Black Cat. Yes, she does. Morlun? Can we just avoid that whole spider totem nonsense? No, they already tried to do that in the Madam Web movie. We saw how that went down. Let's just avoid all that. Nobody saw She-Hulk. What? Granted, but it still happened. I don't know. Maybe they can. I don't know. Maybe after the next Avengers movie, maybe after they do Doomsday, they can kind of reset things a little bit. The true nemesis favorite still me. Okay. All right. All right, we got Jackal and Ben Reilly. We got Tombstone, Hobgoblin, Shocker. Well, Shocker's already been done. Hobgoblin. I still think Scorpion. You got Mr. Negative also. I think he could do some cool things with his powers. All right, so we got a cool some good options here. Black Cat, not as an antagonist, but like as a running buddy or a sidekick or something. Because MJ doesn't have her memories. If Peter is trying to kind of move on and try to or move forward at least and try to start a new life, maybe get a new girl in there. I think introducing Black Cat, even if it's only for one movie, that would make sense. Because MJ is like out of the picture at this point. So while she's gone, maybe bring a new girl. And doesn't seem like they want to do Mary Jane unless that's who Sadie Sink is playing. But Yeah, I think doing Black Cat would make a lot of sense. I really do. Alistair Smythe, yeah, the Spider Slayers. We haven't done those in a movie yet. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, they got some good options. You think a Spider-Man movie should be street level or multiversal? Oh, street level. Come on. He's a street level character. Okay, they did the multiversal thing for one movie. They got Toby and Andrew in there. Cool. You can't just keep doing that. You really can't. It doesn't make sense for the character. It never has. Spider-Man is a street level character. That's where he exists. Okay. Avengers Doomsday, I think it'll be utter garbage. I lost hope in Marvel at this point. Yeah, I really don't know what to think about Doomsday right now. That cast list that they announced feels very random to me. I assume there's going to be a lot more people they announced for this thing. But yeah, it's just it doesn't help that the whole multiversal saga has been so like poorly constructed. Like we still don't know what the hell the narrative has been building to. And if it's all been culminating with the Doctor Doom from another universe fucking shit up, it's like, well, we weren't building up to anything then, because this is all some like self-contained story. So what were the last two phases about then? What were we building to? It didn't seem like we were building to anything, really. The only time when they tried to set something up, as far as I know, is when they showed us something out in the galaxy somewhere, and that they were somehow connected to the Bangle from the Ms. Marvel show. Of course, that may have been retconned since then, because they didn't mention shit about that in the Marvels. So they clearly have not known where this story was going, and I suspect they were, for the most part, just making it up as they go along. So I guess it shouldn't be that surprising that they announced the cast for this movie, and it's like the most random assortment of characters we've ever seen. Right. How do you make a movie with that many characters in Doomsday? Well, I think that's going to be the MO for these Avengers movies going forward. It's not just going to be like the team of Avengers. It's going to be everybody. I think the Avengers movies are just going to become these gigantic crossover events where they just cram in as many characters as possible. Because it worked for Endgame, right? Worked for Infinity War. But Infinity War and Endgame were the culmination of the entire Infinity Saga. So it made sense for those movies. Now they're just going to do it again for a movie, for two movies that are the culmination of nothing, really. It doesn't really make sense anymore. Now, granted, they don't really have an Avengers team now because a lot of them are gone. So, I mean, but shouldn't that logically mean that the next Avengers movie should be about forming the new team? I mean, you got a couple people from the old roster still up for it. You got Thor, he's going to be in there. Okay, you got Hulk, he's still around. Clint is retired, but he's been trying to retire for years now, and he just can't. It never seems to stick. You can get Hawkeye back in there, or if not, you could have Hulk and Thor, and then bring in some new people. Obviously, Sam is going to be in there. Maybe a couple others. Doctor Strange, most likely. You got a few holdovers. bring in some new characters who make sense. But you should try to create a set roster for this new team. And it doesn't look like they're going to have that. It's just going to be multiversal Doctor Doom does something. And so we're just going to grab all the heroes we can possibly grab. Oh, we got the Thunderbolts over here? Okay, throw them in there too. And it's just going to be like a big mishmash. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But it seems like we're in a throwing stuff at the wall situation here. We'll see how it goes. Stephen Kahn, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on AEW Dynasty? Oh, wow. That's like this week, isn't it? Is it this Sunday? I don't know. I saw a tweet during Dynamite tonight where they talked about or someone was saying that I can't believe this is what passes for a go-home show, and my first thought was, this is a go-home show? Wait, is the pay-per-view this weekend? It completely slipped my mind. Yeah, the build-up has not been good. In fact, during the show, I was thinking, man, this Dynamite just has no energy to it. Like I'm not interested in anything that's happening right now. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not even sure what most of the card is for Dynasty, which is kind of sad. It has no, I don't know. The intrigue is not there right now. They really need to shake up creative, because like the current creative team is just not getting it done. Here's a good question. If Doomsday bombs, will it cancel the MCU? Well, it won't bomb, but I think there's a good chance it'll underperform. Cancel the MCU is a stretch, because, I mean, odds are we're heading into a soft reboot of the MCU anyway after Secret Wars. And it's not like they can just pivot and go in a completely separate direction at this point. They can't. They're locked in. Plans are probably already in place for Secret Wars. I'd be shocked if they don't have at least a draft of the script. And they can't make any major changes at this point. One way or another, it's going to change after Secret Wars, but until we get to that point, we're probably not going to see any major changes. Worried for Thunderbolts 2. I hope they don't butcher Sentry Void if that's him. No, that is him. They've confirmed that. I don't know. I don't know what to think of Thunderbolts. I think there's been several different trailers. Each make it look like a very different movie. They're trying to make it appeal to the broadest audience possible, and that's usually a sign that they don't know what kind of movie this is. I do like the cast. It does seem like they're trying a little bit too hard or a little bit too obviously to make the Thunderbolts into their new Guardians of the Galaxy type of franchise. You know, the team of weirdos and misfits that get thrown together. Maybe it'll work, maybe not. I think if James Gunn were making it, I'd have a lot more confidence, but I don't know. I don't know who's making it now, but I know he's not James Gunn, so, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think the trailers have looked bad, but I don't have a ton of confidence in it either. Yeah. It's a to be continued on Thunderbolts. Could be good. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. All right. If anybody has any super chats, get them in now. I think we're about I think we're good here. Okay, is there anything else I need to go over here? Here for OP Bald Therias. Okay. People still remarking about my hair. It's very weird. Still seems strange to me. Like I was going over the comments from the Snow White video. It's like 80% of the comments were about what I did to my hair. I don't know why is my hair so interesting. I mean, granted, I guess it was more interesting than anything in the movie. I guess that's a sign that the gag worked. Because I was literally saving that gag for that review. Like, if not, I would have cut the hair off like a long time ago because I was sick of it. But I knew, well, I've had the hair for so long now, I got to do something cool with this in a video. Otherwise, what's the point? Because it would be stupid to waste something like that. I've got to turn it into a joke of some kind. And so, well, what's a good movie to do that with? Oh, I knew it was going to be Snow White, so I kept the hair for months because I knew I knew I was going to lose the hair in that video. I guess it worked. Trailers weren't bad, but Sentry is an Avengers level threat easy. There's got to be a second whammy villain going on. There's no way they're beating Robert. In canon, even Danvers isn't touching the Void. Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I heard he was going to be in the movie. I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do with that? I mean, they'd have to nerf the hell out of Sentry just so Bucky and the others can get out alive. You got a couple of super soldiers in there. You got Ghost, who can, turn intangible and stuff. You got a Black Widow. Okay. They're not going to be able to do anything against Sentry. You're the man with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. This is who the Thunderbolts are going after? Like, I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a villain. He might just be, like, a presence that's stirring shit up that they have to take care of. Because, I mean, if Sentry is the antagonist, the Thunderbolts are fucked. Unless they nerf the hell out of him, which I would rather they not do. Have you seen the comic became Venom? Oh, Jesus Christ. I haven't read the comic. Weirdly enough, I've seen the thumbnail of some shorts in the last couple days that said, this is what happened when Mary Jane became Venom in the comics. And like, I didn't even watch it. I thought, wow, that is really fucking stupid. It does sound like something Marvel would try, though. Because it seems like everybody has been the host of Venom now. Or if not Venom, then one symbiote or another. God, the symbiotes are so overused now. Jesus Christ. There's like 50 different ones, and like everybody's been a host of a symbiote at this point. God, I mean, the symbiotes used to be cool. They're so stupid now. All right. Only watching it for Yelena. Yeah, I like Yelena too. I don't think they've used her great. I think she hasn't had like the greatest material in the world, but she's a fun character. I like her a lot. I think a lot of that is just Florence Pugh, the way she plays her. Because Florence Pugh, she makes Yelena like weirdly funny. Like you wouldn't expect a Black Widow to have much of a sense of humor. Not that Yelena does, but it's just the way she reacts to things and her line delivery. It makes that character like unexpectedly funny. So I like Yelena. I like her a lot. do kind of wish they'd give her some better stories to work with. Okay. Looks like we're about set here. So thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Stephen Kahn, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. As per usual, once we're wrapped up here for the night, this stream will be set to private, and then I'll upload it to the live streaming channel in the next day or two. Link for the live streaming channel is in the description box below, so go click on that, subscribe to that if you want to watch the stream, or if you missed the stream and you want to watch it for the first time, it'll be in the live streaming channel. Link in the description box. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We've got 2 more episodes of Daredevil Born Again. Wow, the season's almost over. How did that happen so fast? This season has gone by so quickly, which I guess is a very good thing. I think they're in a good place. I don't think they've made many missteps so far. Few small ones. Couple decisions I'm not really sure about just yet, but overall, I think this has this has been working out. I've been pretty happy with Born Again so far, which is such a relief that I can say that. So, all right, thank you very much. Thanks for talking to me tonight. Same time, same place next week. Wednesday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. We're talking about Daredevil Born Again Episode 8 next week. And then we've got the finale the week after that. Can't wait to see what happens. Thanks again. I will talk to you guys next time. So, everybody, have a good night. Later.